Alright, so this is the last piece of this video. I'm gonna hopefully edit all three parts together and make one exceptionally long video. Alright, so I had the idea in my drunken rampage just a little bit ago of making a terminal where the player could actually type in something and kind of do like a hacker's terminal. Similar to Fallout 4, but not with the whole screen of hexadecimal crap. Something a little bit differently. So this part is going to be a little bit longer because I'm kind of developing this as I go. So still a little bit drunk. Got Dr. Pepper. I have food. I'm fine. So let's make this. So here's all I've really added right now is I've added the hacker terminal text box and then the physical terminal somewhere right there. So now we have 4 terminals to look at when this game project is all said and done. Let me go ahead and switch over to the other monitor. Yeah, so it kind of looks like that. It's a little busy, right? But it's not going to be how it actually is in the game. We're just doing this as a test file. Highly encourage that when you are developing new mechanics, take the very wise words of a very good friend of mine that I work with in my day job. Pull that mechanic aside, build it on its own, make sure that the theory and the idea works. If it does, then you can bring it back into your game or your project or program or whatever you're doing. We were doing programming at the time. Once the mechanic works on its own, that's your baseline. That mechanic works. Then you can pull it back into your game, and if it has problems, then you say, well, what changed from my baseline to when I pulled it in and actually put it into the video game? So we're going to see if we can get this done. And I'm being interrupted by Mr. David Watts, who's making a badass little music game going on over here. Shout out to Mr. David for giving me some ideas on how to make this hacker terminal. Dude, game's looking great, man. Okay, let's make some video games. So anyway, so we've got our 4th terminal, and all we're really going to be doing is essentially creating another terminal screen, but it's going to be strictly for kind of like a pure command line. And the more that I think about this, the more I may take this theory and use it across all of the terminals for Desolate Star. So if I do, I will make yet another video. Yes, I'm all up in your YouTubes. I'll probably make another video of how it actually looks when I'm all said and done, implementing all 4 components into one terminal and making it look all pretty and beautiful. Alright, so let's do some work. So we've got, let's see, our hacker terminal here. And let's see, we're going to need another group. Let's just kind of be a little smart about this. So we'll do, oops, nope, do that, get rid of that. So if you just do Control-Shift-N, as you saw there, it puts the game object in general world space or universe space, whatever you want to call it. And if you do the right-click on the object and go to Create Empty, it puts it as a child to whatever you created it on. And it does put it at 0, 0, 0. If you drag it into world space and then try to drag it back into the object as parent, it doesn't always keep the right, what's the word I'm looking for? The right directions. So we're going to get rid of this. Actually, we're going to delete this altogether. We don't need a rect transform. We just need a... Why are you off so weird? Super, super weird. Alright, man. Let's just do this. Create empty. Alright, we're going to call this hacker terminal group. Okay? David, he's messaging me on Facebook right now, and he's at that moment where he's struggling with his game, and we're pretty much just at the point where it's like, you know what? This is a famous phrase that we use at my day job. Is just when you get frustrated and you don't know what to do, do work. All right, so let's do work. So we've got our hacker terminal group, and basically we just need a overlay UI just like what we had before. So we're basically going to borrow what we've already built from here. Going to duplicate all of that and then drag it down to our hacker terminal group, and bam, it's on. So we need to get rid of quite a few things here. First of all, we actually need to drag it into the group because we're apparently retarded. And let's see, what is it? Canvas group. So that enables our buttons and everything else underneath it. All the children. Clean this up a little bit because it does that and I hate it. But we all know why. Because Unity, stuff, and things. Okay. Alright. Sorry, I help people out way too much apparently for my own good. Okay, so we've got our hacker terminal, we've got the UI, we've got to delete some crap here. So we want our... Ooh. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Okay, so we need our text. We need our title text to stay there. We don't need our wall of text. And we no longer need our cursor. And we need to leave the close button. Okay? So why are we getting rid of the cursor line? Because we're actually going to do that in our input box, so to speak. As the player types, it's going to be a variable that continuously is put in as the player types through it. Alrighty, so let's figure out, let's see, we need some measure of input box, and I think, come on, input field? What does that look like? Alright, that is what we need. Alright, so let's put it right about here. And we will change this god-awful white color default here in just a second. So we're gonna... sizing's a little bit off, but it's alright. Alright, so input field. Let's see, what do we got here? We got some text and a placeholder text, which we don't need. Go ahead and get rid of that. Actually, if that's just text, we can probably get rid of that altogether. Alright, back again. So, everything I can tell, you can get rid of the placeholder text and it doesn't break anything on the input. But we're going to just test it real quick. I'm going to go over to our game monitor here. And there's our input box. And it looks like we can type just fine. The enter key doesn't seem to do anything necessarily. Okay, so that doesn't do anything, so we need to figure out, I'm guessing that it is a stop typing kind of input on the input box. So we'll need to figure out how can we like hit enter or do a carriage return of some measure and continue input. Alright, making a note for myself. Stuff to do. Alright, so, first of all, let's fix this horrible default white crap that's going on here. So we know that our terminal font is green. Let's see, it's going to be small s, so let's do 25 for our font. We want it on the left, and we actually want it on the bottom going up. So let's test that. Our input field, let's do black. And the highlight color and pressed color, I don't think... Oh my god. Damn it, Unity. You made it into a friggin' button. For real. Okay, pressed color, we don't care. Disabled color, we do care. So let's turn it... Oh no, we want it black. Okay, so I was thinking if it ever ends up being disabled by error, then it will flash red for us, but we don't want that because we will be disabling this when the player exits the terminal or so forth. It will disable this, and we don't want it. We don't want a giant red box running around the middle of the screen, in this sci-fi survival game. That's just retarded. More notes for myself. Okay. So, we know... Okay, let's go ahead and test it real quick here. Since we already changed colors. I'm on the right monitor. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Let's see what happens when it gets to the end of the line. Does not do what I want. So, what we need to change the text field. So we want we don't want to wrap vertical overflow. Let's see what happens. Okay, nothing. Let's see what we can figure out. So what we want is, so let's do it in Notepad, and I'll show you guys what I was thinking. Let me blow the font up here a little bit. Reasonably. Okay. So what we want is we want a word wrap. Okay. So in Notepad, if you do word wrap, get to the end of the line, it goes to the next line. Right? That's what we want right there. Okay. So we want word wrap. We want continued input. So how in the world can we do this? Let's see, truncate. We're gonna have to do some testing back and forth. I have never used an input box in Unity before, at least not in a video game. Okay, so it's continuing on horizontally, but not vertically. Okay, so we don't want that. So let's swap these. Wrap, we do want wrap. Let's try overflow. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, getting to the end of the line. Should have used a bigger character, but I will. Okay, so it's still not, it's going horizontally, which it's supposed to actually overflow and wrap. Why is it not doing that? Interesting. Interesting indeed. I don't like that it highlights either when you click in it. This may not work. So, let's go back over here. Actually, input field, navigation. Don't know what that is. None. Hey, look at that. Now, how the hell do I change the friggin' white garbage? Unity, what are you doing to me, man? You're killing me, man. You're killing me. Alright. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it still carries over. but it is not wrapping down, which is what we need. Okay. All right. So what I changed here, I'm not doing a very good job with this. I'm gonna stop this. Okay, so back yet again. So what we're looking at doing right now is an input field to kind of mimic a command line. What we're really wanting is something that kind of functions like Notepad. So with a word wrap turned on, where we can hit enter and it goes to the next line, so on and so forth. But if we type all the way over here to the side, boom, it wraps around, right? So the way you do this, input field, we got rid of the placeholder field. It's not really necessary. I don't think it's going to necessarily eat up memory, quote unquote, but it's not necessary right now for what we're doing, so I just got rid of it. We don't need a placeholder text or anything like that. So one thing that is going to be different, we're not going to have an underscore cursor, and we're not going to have the arrow that we wanted, the cursor item that we had before, but we're actually going to borrow the cursor here, move this down here. Now we do. So we're going to find our input field right here. And we're going to test spacing and sizes and all that other fun stuff. So now we have two cursors. So we have two cursors, but we're doing pretty good. So let's get rid of the blinking cursor itself. And then we'll take our input field, resize it. We're actually going to bring this guy down to the bottom. Zoom in. Let's see what we can do before it farts up. And we'll see what we look like here. We're actually going to do a little trick here in Unity. Alright, so there's our cursor right there in the editor. Right, I have the game running, so I know exactly where the blinking cursor is going to be in the input field. So let's do this. And we'll move it up. Actually, let's see. Let's center this and see what it looks like. There we go. So this is kind of faking it. I mean, horribly, horribly faking it. But we don't really have necessarily a command line tool for Unity, so we have to build our own, which is fine. That's kind of what we're doing. So we're going to copy component. And the reason we're doing that is when we turn this off, it's going to reset everything. So set it back to middle. And then paste component values. Boom. Right where we left off. Now we're going to move this over a little bit. And we're actually going to do a background image. Let's see. Image. Move that up above the input field. Center in on it. And we're going to do a little border all the way around it here. And you'll see why here in just a second as soon as I can get the spacing right. Alright. So, what we're going to do is create just a little bitty border all the way around it here. So the player is going to know that this is significant, this area right here. And this will change, the size of this will change probably in actual Desolate Star actual. We'll go with green. So we have our green border now. And I'll show you what it looks like in the game. Pretty good. Not too bad. Top and bottom's a little thin, but I think it works out pretty good. Looking at it on my real monitor here, it looks pretty good. I think we'll go with that. Yeah, we like that. Looks good. So we're going to rename this to command line BKG and save. So let's test it, take a look at it, see what it looks like in game. So when the game starts, there's no cursor there. So we'll have to figure out on start, set focus or something like that. So we've got that. Okay. Carriage return works. And let's see what happens when we go for... Bam, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful word wrapping. Alright, love it. So the player can type whatever they want. Hello world. Sup YouTube. Shout out to my lady. Why not? We're still drunk. Let's do it. Okay. Let's see. So, got that. And let's see. Trying to think if there is a set focus option for input fields. Let's see, we want our character limit at 0, which means it's infinite. It doesn't care how many characters are there. Content type is standard. What do we got here? Decimal number, alphanumeric, name, email address, password, PIN, custom. Interesting, cool, that could be useful. All of this actually, rather, meaning is what I'm saying, it could be useful. Integer number, only for numbers. Auto-corrected. Oh, I've got to play with that. I didn't see any of that, so wrong monitor. Let's say car. Does not do anything. Misspelled. Okay, so it doesn't actually autocorrect. Thank God. That would have been terrible. Let me switch back over here and you'll see what I'm talking about. So there's a content type, auto-corrected. I literally thought that meant like auto-corrected like on your text messages on your phone. So we're going to leave that at standard. Line type is what I was trying to find before in the 3 other videos that you're not going to see. Trying to get the line right where it would wrap correctly. So placeholder and ungraphic doesn't matter. Caret blink rate, we can set that. Caret width, and let's see, how large does it get? Probably old school style. Really? You've got to be kidding me. That is pretty much a useless field. Alright, custom caret color. Interesting. Okay, so I guess if we wanted red caret in our input field. Yeah, not bad. Text is still green and the caret is red. Interesting. May play around with that sometime. Selection color. We definitely don't need that. Not blue. So let's go with, let's see, the font is going to be green. Ideally, we want the highlight to be one color and the text to change to another color, but I don't think it can do that. So let's do green but mild. Like a darker green. Let's see what that looks like. Alright. And we'll do a bunch of text. Okay, so that's not bad. A little bit darker, maybe. Right about there. It's pretty good. Do it as a preset, so when we stop the game, we can reset it. Ka-chunk. And let's do... No, you know what? That's good. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Okay, so we've also got on value changed. And we've also got on end edit, which I don't know what either one of those necessarily do. So, let's see. Let's go over to the documentation, which if you don't use the Unity documentation, you really shorten yourself. Alright, so on value change. This is the part where we're looking for right here. A Unity event that is invoked when the text content of the input field changes. The event can send the current text content as a string type dynamic argument. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind. End edit. A Unity event that is invoked when the user finishes editing the text content either by submitting or by clicking somewhere that removes the focus from the input field. The event can send the current text content as a string type dynamic argument. Okay, so basically what this is saying is as soon as the value changes in the input field, it's going to do something. And this says if we click out of it, then it can do something else, which means that we can actually hide our terminal window just by clicking away from it. That's actually pretty cool, and I want to test that, so let's do that right now. Minimize that. Save our project because we haven't done that in a while. Alright, so we've got our inventory terminal thingy. Where am I? Let's move this up here. Okay, that's the physical terminal, not the actual group. It's fine. Alright, so we've got our terminal controller. We've got open and close terminal, journal, info. Alright, so let's do script. Let's see, open, close, hacker, terminal. I know that real hackers everywhere are just rolling their eyes so hard that their skull is actually getting a sanding from the inside right now, but get over it. Love you guys. Alright, so that worked. Load this sucker up. Alright, so we know that we're going to abuse the crap out of the UI system, so let's go ahead and bring that in here. So what we want, alright, let's see, public void show hide hacker terminal. Okay, so we're going to do public, oh my gosh, I cannot type, public canvas group, yeah, hacker terminal group. Okay. Terminal controller. Okay, and then we're going to take our group, put it right there, hide all this, clean this up so we can actually see what the heck we're doing. Alright, so we have that. Now we need to call this function whenever we do an on-end edit. So let's add terminal. So this is basically exactly like a function, or I'm sorry, a button. Show hide hacker terminal right there. So now we're going to, let's see, we need to change the alpha, the interactable, and the raycast. Alright, dot get component, elf, nope, canvas, elf, wait, what am I doing? Think. Canvas group alpha equals 0. Interactable equals false. Dot raycast equals false. Sorry, dot blocks raycast equals false. Alright, so basically that will turn it off. So we actually need to do, actually didn't need to do a, yeah, let's do this. Hide hacker terminal. And then we'll do a separate one for show, just because we have to set a hard value here. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. I just don't feel like looking it up right now. Alright. So we need to change this to wait for it to recompile. Hide. Alright, so let's test this. Let's see what happens. So supposedly, according to the documentation, when I click out of the input field, it should hide all of this. So let's see what happens. So the game's running. We're going to type. Works just fine. Click. Oh, wow, that's cool. Super, super handy. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get our button, hacker terminal. Let you guys see the right video. Alright, so apparently oh, that's right, I did a copy component earlier. Show hacker terminal. And that's on our hacker terminal button. So whenever the actual hacker terminal itself goes away, and I'll show you guys what's going on, type in here, click away, and then we can bring it right back. And it's very, very cool that it keeps the text, but I don't want it to do that. I want it to clear all of the text. So it's good that we know that now. So we're going to we actually need to clear the text. So let's make... Crap, I need to change the name on this. Now, you know what? What's that doing with this? Alright, that's cool. Let's just make a journal, hacker controller. Let's see. Hacker terminal controller. Okay. But when it hides, we do need it to clear all of the text. And for some reason, my computer just froze. There we go. So what we're going to do is public input field console box, whatever. I don't like that. Hacker terminal console. And we need to say when it hides it, dot text equals blank. Null. Nothing. Not a zip zilch. Then we're going to come back over here. Terminal controller. I don't know what is going on with my computer tonight, guys. It is acting retarded. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean it's actually retarding, slowing down. So don't even go stupid on me. Let's see. Alright. So let's test it. Switch monitors. Closing. Okay. That worked. Bam. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright. So what we need to do next is actually set the focus inside the input field as soon as it becomes visible or starts up. So alright. We can do an update. Actually, let's do fixed update. It'll save resources. So what we want to do is set the focus inside the input field. So I have no idea how to do that. So let's go over to here. All right, see if there's a way already. Okay. Nope, nope. Interactable text. Okay. Okay. Don't see anything here in the documentation. Okay. So yeah, I don't see anything here that says that we can force input to the input field necessarily. So let's see. Let's see, Unity 5, C#. Input, let's see, set focus on input field. Y'all are going to get to watch me Google the shit out of this. Unity forums are a great place to go. Code that I used was event system manager.current systems. Select a game object. Nice. Okay, so it looks like they have a solution here. A couple of them, rather. So they're putting it in the update. Let's try just putting it in our fixed update. So we'll drag this off screen. And we'll do it in our fixed update and see what happens. Not working. All right. Copy and paste fails. Event system. Oh, wait. Ah, crap. Okay. Don't like how this is set up. Let's see. None of that seems to work anymore. Let's try dot Let's see. Dot. Activate the input field to begin processing events. Let's see what that does. More documentation. Function activate the input field to begin processing events. Useless documentation. Awesome. Is it a thing? Alright, so this is where my lack of programming knowledge is really going to make life hell, but whatever. It's fun. You get to learn. Alright, we'll switch monitors and see what happens. So, game is not started. Clicking play. Game is started, and there it is. You can start typing immediately. So all that searching resulted in basically one damn line of code. So we've got our hacker terminal input field up here, public. So hacker terminal console dot activate input field. Now I'll show you the code now that I'm looking at it. Activate input field. That's it. Puts the cursor smack in the middle of the line, or in the input field where it should be. So, sheepish grin and all. That's where we go from here. So, we have some pretty cool stuff set up already. When the hacker terminal is turned on, actually, we need to do some testing here. Turn that off all the way down. Down. Okay. Alright, so we're going to switch over to the game. And I'm still using the multiple terminals so I can keep everything nice and separate until I decide what I want to do. Alright, so our game is running, so let's start from our baseline, what we know is already working. Okay. Whoa. Oh, I know why that's doing that. Because that field is not actually 100% off. It's not 0, it's 0.03. Good times. Alright, let's try it again. Alright, game is playing. Baseline. Control terminal, lights work. Whether the script for that works. I think the second thing we did was the info terminal. That's working. Our little animation is working. That button's working. Germinal. I did it again. Our germinal is working. Okay, the entries work. Those don't have anything in them, so that's fine. And now our hacker terminal. We can type all day. Enter. La, 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 and sex it, apparently. Fucking sex it. There we go. Okay, that works. Fantastic. Now, what we need to do is read the input and take the last command, quote unquote, that the player entered and use that as part of the logic. What the hell did I just say? 44, 42, 43. Science the shit out of this. Alright, so let's kind of wing this on Notepad and see what it looks like. So what we want is, when it starts up, we have... Actually, I'm wasting resources on my machine. Let's do this. Let's actually look at it in the game and see what it's actually going to function as. So we get this game running up here. So hacker terminal. Alright. So what we want is I type in a command and hit enter. When it changes, it needs to read that carriage return as a submit in a way. So I actually need a multi-line submit, which Unity does not support natively. So, and then, here's the killer thing. Command number 1, command number 2. So, what we needed to do is actually read all of the text, take the last thing that was entered. So we're actually going to need 2 variables. So we're going to need a what the text was before the command and what the text was after the command. And we need to get the difference between the two. and then we're going to extract that and say, do something with this text. So for right now, let's say that we enter hello world. Okay, we hit enter, bam. What the program needs to do is read that hello world and say, okay, what do I do with hello world? Do I know what to do with that? So we're going to be using a switch statement, a switch case. If it doesn't know what to do with it, the default will be return an error of bad command or file name, which anybody that's ever used DOS knows that is the worst thing that you ever want to see, and I'm absolutely going to put it in Desolate Star because why not? So let's do this. Get her done. Let's bring our hacker terminal back. Hard values apparently. Do that. Alright, so do we have our script for... No, we do not. We are going to create a hacker controller, which apparently we have right there. Where the hell did you come from? Oh man, drunken game development. This is why we can't have nice things, kids. Alright, so we need in this controller, first of all, we need to put it on our terminal controller here, which I don't think we have it here. We just have to open and close. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we need to get the input field. Let's see, input field box. Nope, let's do this. Command line. Okay, so we need to get that so we can get the text off of it. And I'm thinking what else we're going to need publicly. And I can't think of anything. I'm about to fall asleep. So, let's go back over here. Wait for the compile. My gird. Nope, not that. This. So we actually need to change this to command line. Screw it. Alright. Let's see. Hacker terminal. Why does it keep moving over there? Oh. Okay. Okay. Yep. Alright. And let's see. So we've got our input field. We just need to be able to read the code. And we're going to use some private variables. Let's say private string old value, old input, and new input. So the way that I did this is we need two strings. They're nothing special. So you can put them in one line. It just makes your code a little bit neater, easier to read. So we're going to use this for comparison. And we're going to use this for general input field. Alright, so let me think for just a second. I think I spelled that wrong. There we go. So when we type it in and we hit enter, we need to assign that I'm thinking for a second. Alright, so to start, output equals blank blank. Input, new input equals nothing. Alright, so what we need don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm already at the 35-minute mark for this video, so I'm actually gonna stop this and kind of think this through for a minute and then restart it and continue on.